Hi, everybody. It's time for Stamp It Your Way, and we are super excited that you have tuned into our our program. I don't know what to call it, but we have
Our
had a lot of
crazy
fun.
hour. This is our
Yeah,
hour of
crazy
just being
hour. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Stay tuned because you're going to see some beautiful cards using a hybrid bundle that we're going to share with you how to use it, and we're going to give you 4 fantastic ideas. I think they're all beautiful, and I hope you do too. So let me introduce myself. My name's Mary Ellen Stites. My business is Create With Me, and I live in Central Illinois. And my sidekick here,
Me. Me. I am Betsy Crider. I live in Reedsville, Pennsylvania. Was there something else I was supposed to say? I totally lost
yeah,
it right
what's
there.
the
I'm like,
name of
wait a
your
second, where do
business?
I live?
What's the name of your business, Betsy?
Oh, there you go. BCreative stamping. Yes. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have a
well,
brain. It left a couple months
it,
ago and I still
it's
haven't found
okay. It's okay. It's
it.
October. I mean, I don't know. Fall, the weather's changing. Can we say that affects us as we age? I think it definitely does. So,
It does.
we just have a lot of fun, and we do some stamping, some creative stamping. We're going to teach you some techniques and ideas, and hopefully there's something new to you. So stay tuned. If you're not familiar with Stamp It Your Way, if you're just tuning in, Stamp It Your Way is an online um, class that Betsy and I have been doing now for 4 years, I think 4 years. And we enjoy being together. We're 10 hours apart, and this is our time to see each other and to visit with you. So, Stamp It Your Way, we do, if you subscribe to the class, and just stay tuned. If you don't, it's okay. You don't have to. So if you subscribe to Stamp It Your Way each month, what you get is 8 cards. We do 4 different designs. We will cut the packets for you to make 2 of each card. And we call it Stamp It Your Way because we know that you don't always have everything in your arsenal. And that's okay. And we want you to know it's okay. And we want you to use your stamping products because that's what's most important to us. So, yes, we will show it to you one way, but we sometimes give you alternatives, and we sometimes say, this would work great with this if you don't have it. So that's what we're all about. We just want you stamping and being happy because we know that when we're stamping, we're happy. So along with the
Exactly.
subscription, you get $20 in product. We usually send some paper and some ribbon or some embellishments in your packet. So the whole subscription is $35, and it's a really great deal. And you get to spend an hour with us. So we have full tutorial download tutorials for each card and this video. So we're happy that you're here. So this month we are doing a hybrid folder bundle called Changing Leaves, and this is an online exclusive.
Yes.
So if you're not
Mhm.
familiar with online exclusives, those are products that come out very regularly. It's a way to expand our catalog
Mhm.
online so that they can come out pretty often. So it's ever evolving, and we love that. We love that it just expands what we can use, don't we,
And
Beth?
there's some new ones coming next month. Next
Yes.
month is an online exclusive release month, right?
Yes, there's some great ones coming up. I've already got them as a demonstrator. We could pre-order this month, and I've been playing like crazy, and I'm totally in love with several of these bundles, and I know you will be too.
Yeah.
So Betsy's going to share with you what comes in the Changing Leaves bundle, and then what we have sent to our subscribers this month so that you are familiar, and then we'll get started stamping.
Absolutely. And October is a fantastic month. There's a lot going on this month. There's 30% off our kit collection. You might definitely want to check that out. And there's an amazing sign up deal going on right now, $155 worth of product, anything you want to choose, $155 worth of product for only $99. And that's free shipping, and you get a paper pumpkin kit in with that. It's really one of the best deals around. So think about that and make sure you get that in before the end of October if you're interested.
Yeah, it's really a great deal. And if you're like us, or even if you're just a craftingaholic,
Mhm.
after you do get the kit, it ends up giving you 20% off of your supply. So it's really a fantastic way to get a discount and kind of stock your arsenal.
Exactly. And we both have teams and communities, and we just, we're best friends, and I wouldn't know Mary Ellen without Stampin' Up in my life. So it's, for me, it's one of those things where it's like, why wouldn't you, right? It's hassle free. There's no commitment. It is so easy, and you can, some people just need people in their lives. I know I do. I need people in my lives, and this is a way for me to not be lonely and have this group of people that I can stamp with and share with, and it's all about community.
That's definitely right. We always say that we want to stamp out loneliness, and it's never about paper stamps and inks. We love to create with paper stamps and inks, but we love to create with you and the people that are on our team and in our community and the people that come to our classes. That's what makes us stay with Stampin' Up and just building relationships with people. So if you've got people in your life like that, this is a great way to share, and this is the time to do it. So that special is available until the end of October. So don't miss out. You can reach out to either one of us, and we will give you more details on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. October is a really great month. And the kit collection, you could get savings on top of savings, right? So definitely check that out or contact us and let us know
Yeah,
if you have
there's
any
two
questions.
fantastic Christmas card kits too, a Christmas card and a Christmas ornament kit. So you'll definitely
Mhm.
want to check those out. Those are both, it's very timely for those. So those are both fantastic kits.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. We ready to get going?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So we are using the Changing Leaves bundle. As Mary Ellen told you, this is an online exclusive bundle. So it does have the stamp set, and it's got these great leaf images, and it's got some fun words in there that you can use. Now, it is a photopolymer set. I don't know if anybody else does this. I tend to, like, when I'm working on something, if I cut extras, I just kind of throw them in my case. So that's why my case looks a little like all over the place. But you can see this is a photopolymer set. Now, it also comes with, when we say it's a hybrid, what we mean is there is a die set and a folder, and they work together. So what happens, and I'll show you this a little bit more later, but what happens is that this die set actually fits within the folder right there. And it kind of like clicks into place. And what happens is that you can run that through, put a piece of paper in there, and you can run those through together. So not only are you cutting, but you're embossing at the same time. And that's why they call it a hybrid. Okay. So that's the die set and the folder. And then we also included this month the Splendid Autumn 6x6 paper. And this paper is, oh my gosh, it is so pretty. It has got so many gorgeous designs in it. And they're all like the fall designs. Aren't they pretty?
They are so pretty.
This one is my
Fall's my
favorite.
favorite season.
That's
So
my, yeah, fall's the favorite season because the colors. This is actually my favorite designer paper right there. And I'm going to use that here in a second. Some of these, though, are just, they're so pretty.
I think
Love
that's one
that
of my
one.
favorites there.
This
That,
one, the sunset
oh
one.
yeah, look at the colors.
Yep. Or sunrise. I guess it could be
Mhm.
sunrise. Yep. So there's a lot of different papers in here. So it's a great paper pack. And then we also, our intention was to originally to include the transparent adhesive back dots. And both of us kind of used this on our samples that you're going to see today. But we actually, because it is currently unavailable, we switched everybody out. If you got the kit, we switched you out into the pecan pie and clear ribboned adhesive dots. We think they're going to work exactly the same. And we'll be able to use these on our card. And I'll be able to show you on a fun technique with this when I get to my second card. Okay. All right. So we ready to stamp?
Let's do it.
Stamp. Okay. So I have, where did I put all my stuff? Okay. It's around here somewhere. Let me move that out of the way. All right. So here is my first card. Okay.
That's pretty paper.
Isn't that pretty?
Well, that really helps the paper shine, be the star of the show, right?
Yes,
Gorgeous.
exactly. The designer series paper is gorgeous by itself. Just add like a greeting, some little embellishments to it, and you are good to go. Let the designer series paper do the work for you. So in this packet, they got a piece of Mossy Meadow, and they got a piece of Cajun Craze, and they got a piece of Very Vanilla. And then the designer series paper, you can kind of mix and match that. So whatever designer series paper you have at home, you can easily change this out with any designer series paper. And in this pack, you can easily change it out as well. So if you like one of the other ones a little bit better, go for it. There's also going to be a couple pieces of Mossy Meadow, a couple pieces of Crumb Cake, and a couple pieces of Very Vanilla. Those are going to be for your leaves and your greeting. I'm still in Very Vanilla envelopes are actually retired and not available anymore, but I'm still I still have a stack of them. So I'm still sending them out with my kits. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, the other thing that I'm using on both of my cards, actually, I am using the Natural Tones linen thread. I just love this linen thread. I think we should have linen thread in every single color.
I do too. I was just saying, I used it for something here recently, and I thought, I just love this. It's so rich.
I love it. I love having all of these different colors. It's just amazing. So, all right. So I'm going to show you here what we're going to do. So these pieces here, what you're going to do with these pieces is that you're going to die cut, right? So I'm going to slide that out. You're going to get this leaf, and you're going to get this leaf. So that's this one, and then this one, and then this one. So you're just going to die cut those pieces to create so that you have those ready for the card. Okay. So I went ahead and pre-did that for us. So I'm going to get that out of the way. All right. So I'm going to put my card base together. I'm just folding it's a standard card, 8.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to use my bone folder on that. And then the Cajun Craze, I wanted just like a little hint of it behind it. So it is definitely cut at 5 3/8 and 4 1/8. I'm doing lots of 8s, even though I usually don't like them. And I'm just gluing that on that base. Okay. This card's going to be super quick. And then this just goes on the front. And I always kind of hold it up. That's the nice thing about liquid glue. I can kind of hold it up there, shimmy it into place, and then I'm good to go. This guy's going to come down here. This guy's going to kind of pop in there. And I'm actually going to use a dimensional right there to hold them in, right? So I'm not even really adding any glue to them. I'm just putting a dimensional, and that dimensional is holding down those stems of those leaves. Don't make it harder on yourself than you need to. I'm going to bring in my Mossy Meadow ink, and I'm going to bring in my stamp. And this one says, a little note to brighten your day. So I'm going to ink this up. And I saw somebody doing this the other day, and I thought this is a really good tip. People, like when your stamp is so small or thin, don't try to aim for the middle of the pad, because what's going to happen is guaranteed you're going to get ink on the block. It's just, don't aim for the end. Aim for the side, because you only have a little bit of stamp. You only need to see a little bit of the ink pad. Don't try to aim for the middle. Aim for just the side, and then you don't get as much ink on your block.
Good tip.
Good tip. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp my greeting. There we go. And this is then going to go over top of this. So I know now I just need a dimensional on either end. And no glue needed to try to put down those leaves. So I'm going to bring this in a little closer, and I'm just going to put that right there. How easy was that?
It's fantastic. But you know what? It's a good reminder about taking the beautiful papers that we have and turning them into quick cards, because sometimes we don't have all day to do a card. Sometimes
No,
we
exactly.
just have a few minutes
do
and we want
not.
to make something,
Okay.
and that's perfect.
Yeah. It's so easy. This really is. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of this linen thread. And I can tell you right now that I put 20 inches. I don't know why I did that on the tutorial. They do not need 20 inches. So just FYI, don't give them 20 inches of thread. That's way too much. If you have the linen thread, this colored linen thread, you can really use any color you wanted to on this. There's a green in there if you wanted to use the green versus the Cajun Craze color. I'm going to bring in a glue dot, figure out where I want that to go. I'm going to go right there and then push my little thread knot right into the center of that, trim up my excess. And there is that. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in those pecan pie gems. Okay, so in this one, you can see that I had used some of those, the transparent ones. Once those things are back in stock, I highly recommend that you get them because they are gorgeous gems. And they come in so many colors, but this gem set is going to work perfectly. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to pick up a couple of these pumpkin pie blends or gems, and I'm just going to kind of put those right there. How easy was that?
Yeah, nice.
Right?
I like these ribbon gems too because there's like a little ribbon of silver that runs through them and it just really pops.
Okay, now because I like my inside and my envelope, so I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper for this. All right, and I'm going to have my piece for the inside, and I'm going to bring in the big stamp. And again, I'm going to use my Mossy Meadow ink, but I only really want the top like little three leaves. I'm not stamping the whole thing. And I just want to stamp here in the corner. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing for the corner of my envelope. Okay. Now I'm using a photopolymer. If you don't have a glass mat, definitely have a mat underneath you. It makes things a little easier. You'll get a better image if you do that. Now I'm bringing in my crumb cake ink. Oh, that one's tight. Okay, bringing in my crumb cake and I'm bringing in this leaf. And I'm going to do this one over top. So that you kind of have the two different leaves going on here, like that. Now, this one is a user choice on whether or not you would like to do this. I'm a splatter girl. I love to have a little bit of like splatter or background on my cards. I just think it gives it a little bit of character and it gives it a little bit of texture. So I'm using my Early Espresso Stampin' Right marker, and I take the brush end and I kind of flick it right off of the cap. Am I too dark? You see me okay?
Yeah, sure.
I can bring in a light. How's that? Is that a little better?
Yeah, that's
Maybe
good.
a little better. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flick this, and I don't need a lot. That's it right there. And did you see how it added just that little bit of spray on there so that it's just, I don't know, it just kind of ties them together into like a nice little collage, right?
Yeah.
So that is my inside. Move my scrap paper here for a second. I'm going to put my glue on. And that is going in my inside. And then it just kind of all coordinates, right? There you go. So just to show you quickly, I don't want to take up a lot of time on this, but I just want to show you quickly that you can do this with any of the designer series papers.
Oh, that's
okay?
great.
The same card
There's my
over
card.
and over with any of the designer series papers that are in this pack.
Oh, I love how you move the greeting around all over.
Yep.
Yeah.
So depending on the image, like I wanted the trees up there. I wanted to see this little like stream. This one, those little flowers or whatever they are down on the bottom. I like those. So where there was like more sky, it just made sense to move the greeting up there.
Lovely.
So easy, right? So if you like one of those other ones better, you can do the same card. Just change out your paper. Easy.
Nice.
Okay. That one is done. Look how quick that one went. Very quick, right?
Yeah, it sure did.
Excellent. All right, so we are going to move on to the second card here. The second card has a little bit of a technique to it. This one actually was a happy mistake. I was trying to do something else. That's why you saw all those patterns in my case, because I was trying something, and this one just kind of became a happy mistake. This has thick basic white, 4¼ by 11, blueberry bushel, which is not a color that I typically use. Blueberry bushel, and it's got a couple pieces of those. We've got some pieces of basic white, and then of course a basic white envelope. For this one also, I have, again, some of that linen thread. This one is the blue one. I don't know that it's blueberry bushel, but it's pretty darn close, and that's what I went with. And then you want to have a water painter. Is that what they call these now? Water painters?
Yes, water painter.
They used to be aqua painters, didn't they?
Yes.
Yes, but now they're water painters. By the way, if you have these, be aware that they turn the opposite of what you think they would, right? So typically I would think that I'm going to turn this left, right? Left loose. But it's not. I'm actually going to turn it to the right to add that water. So be aware of that it just turns different than what you think it's going to. Okay. So an aqua painter, and then water painter, and then some paper towels just to catch any excess. So here's where I'm going to be using my folder, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these pieces of basic white. I'm going to put that in. And by the way, your folders have a line down here at the bottom. So if you ever want to make sure that your paper is straight, or the image is straight that you're doing, just line it up with that bottom line. And then you know that it's going to come through straight the way you want it to. So I'm going to emboss that first. And that's what I'm going to get. All right, so let me show you that. It's pretty, right?
It's such a deep, yes, it's such a deep embossing. I love that they're so three-dimensional now.
It is, yes. They're
Used to be a little
it's really nice.
textured,
And you
but
could
these
use
are,
you could use the debossed side as
yes.
well. Yep. So I've already done that for us. So that is done. The next thing I want to do is on this piece, okay? What I want to do is I actually did this way. I cut this out first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my die and I'm just going to line it up just to get that one leaf. And I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine so that I end up getting this. All right, so that's the first step. Then what I want to do is I want to stamp this leaf image on there. So let me clean my stamp quickly because I still have crumb cake on it. So let me clean that. And then I'm going to bring in my blueberry bushel. And I'm going to stamp this. Now you could do it the opposite way. You could stamp it first and then cut it. I like to give myself a challenge. I don't know why. I just kind of line it up best you can. Come here, stay. To get that. Hey, that's not bad.
Pretty darn good.
Pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Actually, I need to leave that open. So then what you're going to do is you're going to stamp this, right? So you've got this image. Then what I want to do is I'm going to bring the folder back in. And I'm going to line up this stamp onto that image. Now, if you want the image, the raised image to come up to you, you want to make sure you see the Stampin' Up. So I'm going to put my stamped side right onto that leaf, right? Put it on there where I want it. Shut my folder. If I can get it to do it. Sometimes it's easier to do it this way. I need a light. Put it down like that. See where it's going to line up, and then run that through. And when you do, not only is it going to be a stamped leaf, but it's now going to be an embossed stamped leaf. So let me show you. Let me see if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that very well. Does that look? There you go.
Now you can.
Can you see it?
Yeah.
So not only is it stamped, but it's also embossed. So you're going to get both of those, all that at the same time, right? Easy. I'm going to take this piece and fold this in half. And then this piece is going to end up going on my front. But before it does, I want to play with this a little bit. Now, I decided that I wanted to have this kind of go on there, but it needed a little bit more. And again, this was kind of a happy mistake. I accidentally dropped ink on it and it worked out really well. So in my case, so if you ever want to have like a pool of ink in your stamp pad, just close it and then give it a little gentle squeeze. And that'll put ink from your pad onto your lid. Now I'm going to use, again, you might want to have a paper towel here. I'm going to give this a little squeeze just to get my water going here into my brush, and I'm going to pick this up. Now, I don't want it to be super, super wet or super dark, so I'm going to really kind of make that wet, okay? I don't want it to be super dark. And this one, I don't know if I can do this because my camera might be in the way, but what I'm doing is I'm just kind of dropping it, okay? I'm just going to drop it.
So you're squeezing it a little.
Just squeezing it. Yep, just slightly squeezing it. Don't do it too crazy. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then what I do is I also give it a little tap.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So that I have that. Now, what I want to do is I can let that dry, but if I just bring my paper towel over top of it, and then you've got like these water splotches, right? Mm-hmm. So depending on how dark you want it to be, like this one, they're really light. And it all depends on how much water you put with your ink to see how dark or light you want it to be. I kind of like the darker one. I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out.
I like it.
For now, because I'm crazy and I like everything to kind of match, I'm going to bring in my inside. I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to stamp that. And I'm going to do the same thing again. By the way, you could also use the back of a block. If you use the back of a block, you can make that. You know what? Actually, you know what I did? Now that I remember, I didn't even use that. I used the ink off the stamp. So this has extra ink on it, and I just went in and did this.
That's why it was so light.
That's why it was so light. I didn't use that. That was a lot darker. This, I just went ahead and picked it up from there, and I could actually, again, put the water on there. And then I'm just using the excess ink right off of my stamp. And I'm going to do the same thing again here. And I did 3, 4. And then again, put my paper towel down on top. And it gave it just that. I love that look. I'm crazy, but I love that look. It's just a water messy look, right? And if I want to, I can again give it a little bit of splatter. See, I told you I was a splatter girl. I like splatter. I don't know why. Okay. And then the last part here is that you've got this piece that you're going to cut out your piece for the greeting, right? So I'm going to stamp while I have my ink pad. I'm going to go ahead and stamp. And if you have extra in here, you could easily just use your paper towel to mop up any extra water that you might have inside your case. I'm going to close this here and ink my stamp. You are amazing in every single way. That's you, Mary Ellen. You're amazing in every single way.
Aw.
Aw. There we go. Now let's put this card together. So we're going to bring this in. That's going to go in my inside. This is going to go on my front, right? So this one, I did use dimensionals on the back, and I do like a white on white. You could put a layer of the blueberry bushel on this too, but I like white on white for some reason. I'm weird to this month. I like splatter. I like white on white. You're not, you didn't say, oh no, Betsy, you're not crazy. You're not weird. Thanks for, yeah, thanks.
No, you're not.
Just sit there and quiet and just be like, yeah, she is. She's kind of weird.
I actually muted myself accidentally. So you didn't hear me give you all the great accolades.
Yeah, dead silence on the other side. Yeah, that makes you like.
Sorry. I love everything you do.
You are so funny. All right. This is going in. All right. Now this part, I wanted this to be here. And actually, you know what? I should have done it where I stamped it over a little bit, right? So what I did on this one is I stamp the greeting a little bit more to the left. And lucky for me, I have an extra piece. So I'm going to stamp it again because I want to.
You should.
I'm going to stamp it again, and this time I'm going to stamp over to the left, which is going to be a little easier when you go to put this on to have the leaf take up a little bit more area there. So I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of this. I'm going to put this down first. I'm going to line that up right about there. Okay. Then I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of this. And I'm also going to use some of my thread. So I'm going to add some extra dimensionals here because I want those dimensionals to help hold my thread down. So I'm bringing in a piece of the, again, the blue. And I don't know what, I think on there I said, again, 20 inches. I think I put 20 inches, but I think they can cut it in half. If you give 20, use 10 because you don't need 20. You don't need 20 inches for that. I'm going to just kind of wrap this, if it's going to coordinate with me here. I'm just going to kind of put it like that so that I've got some little loops. And I'm going to put this here like that. Then the last thing I need are to put on some gems. Now I'm bringing in those ribbon gems that we're giving you. And I'm going to use the dark blueberry bushel. And I'm going to color right over top. And I want 2 big and 1 small for this one. So what I do is I kind of give it a second, let it dry. And the more I add to it, the darker it's going to get. Okay, that looks good. Give it a second here. Use my tool to pick that up. Come here. And then I'm going to add one here. I'm going to add one here. Oh, and I'm going to add one up here. That does work. It works just as well, doesn't it? It's actually a little shinier.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more shine to it.
Yeah,
So that's it. Those are my 2 cards. I mean, they're pretty simple. It's just having that little water wash look and using the designer series paper to create your other card. These are all pretty simple, right?
I think I kind of like that dark one.
The darker, a little bit darker,
Yeah.
it just pops a little bit more, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you can mix and match it whatever way you want to.
Perfect.
Easy. I'm done. Your turn.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm ready. Okay. I am ready to share my cards. And mine are not difficult either. I really feel like these are fun, easy cards because, like I said before, the paper is really the star of the show. So this is the first card that I'm going to share with you. It's some simple stamping using a fun coloring technique and then letting the designer series paper be just shine. So let's go ahead and get started. What you're going to get in your packet or what you need to cut if you're not doing Stamp It Your Way as a subscription is a piece of wild wheat. And that is just a regular 8.5 by 5.5. Then you're going to use a piece of designer series paper. I chose this one that's got a lot of color on both sides because like you can see here, it's got to have, you know, a little bit of color. That's the only reason I picked that. I think if you picked some with the scenes, they would get lost a little bit. If you're one of those people that are really conservative, there's really no reason why you can't cut. And I think actually on this sample, I might have. You could cut a 1-inch strip, but then you've got to figure out, you know, where to put each little edge. So I'm just using the whole piece. I've got a whole pack. And so that's what I'm doing, just so that you know. Then you're going to need a piece of the very vanilla, one for the inside, and then one for your tag. So I've got the tag already cut for you. So I'm going to get rid of that piece. And then here's for our inside. So super, super simple. Oh, yes. Then you'll need a piece. We'll give you a piece of, I want to show you the back of this paper has this pretty wild wheat, and you are going to take a piece of this paper, the one that's here, and you're going to die cut out a circle. There's a circle die in the set. You're going to die
I
cut
thought
that out
you
of the
cut that.
scrap.
I thought you cut that from cardstock. I didn't
Yeah,
realize you
I
cut
know.
that from designer
It's
paper.
got
Nice.
it's got just a little bit of a brush stroke to it. So it's got a
Mhm.
little dimension and kind of a visual texture thing. So yeah, no, that is actually from the designer series paper. Now you
Smart.
could choose to use even the other side of the designer series paper if you don't want all that fall color, or you want to do something that steps into another season. There's no this is not the end of this paper, right? This could definitely
Yeah.
be spring. It's bright and
Yeah,
cheery,
I did.
right?
I
So
forgot to show the backs of the paper. I didn't even think
yeah,
about showing the
so the
backs. Yeah, the backs are
yeah,
all those great shades. It's beautiful.
exactly. Exactly. They're really, really gorgeous. So let's just start assembling this card by putting our designer series paper down on the card base. Like I said, star of the show. This one goes from top to bottom. So this is a 5.5 and then just a little bit smaller so that you have just a little bit of the wild wheat showing. And then we're going to do our stamping on this 3 by 5.5. So I'm going to bring in my scrap paper because we're going to be stamping off. And I'm going to bring in the large leaf, this one right here. Now this one I've been stamping it in Cajun Craze or in cherry cobbler. And so it does stain the photopolymer, but this stamp is clean. It does not ruin it. I just don't want you to worry that, oh my gosh, it's red. It's just the way it is. It's not going
Yeah.
to hurt anything. It's perfectly clean.
It just
It
shows
just
that it's well loved.
it stains it a little. So these are the
It
colors
shames
that we're going
it's
to be
well
using.
loved.
We're going to be using wild wheat. This is pumpkin pie, Cajun craze, and cherry cobbler. If you want, and I'm going to tell you what I mean by if you want. So when I made this card right here, I used two colors. I used cherry cobbler and pumpkin pie. And it kind of made that Cajun craze color. I'm going to use 4 colors this time, and I'm going to show you why. Because I'm going to be adding color to my stamp with sponge daubers, I'm going to first ink it in the wild wheat. I want to have a little bit of a base color on there, okay? That way, if I miss a little spot with some of these other inks by using my daubers, it's okay because it's still got ink on it, right? And I'm not
Mhm.
contaminating my wild wheat. My pad is still stays clean. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of pumpkin pie, and I like to just dab it on the edges. So it's going over that wild wheat. It's adding a little bit of color. I'm going to close each one as I go, or I sometimes will get myself in a little bit of a pickle. So I've got the pumpkin pie here, and I'm going to add some cherry cobbler. I'm going to do the stem, a little bit of this edge, kind of come over here. I'm not adding a lot. Cherry cobbler is kind of bold. And then the Cajun craze is my last color. So I've added 4 colors on this one. You can add 2 colors, 3 colors. I think that in the tutorial, I think I have 3 colors. I decided to show you a different way to do it too. So now I've got the 4 colors on there. I'm going to close that up. And I'm going to stamp it. Actually, I guess I'm going to have to get it out again because I forgot I'm going to stamp twice. Now you could come in from any direction. I'm going to come in this way. So see how pretty that's just got all that extra color. See,
Mhm.
let's show you the difference. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's just super, super pretty. This
Very
one's just
vivid.
a little bit older. So it's super important that before I do the next leaf that I clean this with my chamois or with my Stampin' Scrub. I just want to get that stamp really clean again to make sure I'll stamp it, make sure there's no color. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to start, just as a reminder, I'm going to start with my wild wheat. I'm going to ink up my stamp. And then I'm going to bring in each color. So pumpkin pie. Add a little pumpkin pie. You can just, so you're just adding a little extra color.
Mhm.
I may have used the wrong daubers because I don't have them labeled. A lot of times I like to label them. I label them for classes. I think I just used cherry cobbler on my pumpkin pie, but that's okay.
Little cross contamination.
I think that you'll still get the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try it like that. I really love that. That looks really pretty.
It's very
And
nice.
I'm
Nice and
I'm
bright.
gonna have this one come up. I want to cover as much of this as I can, get as much color. Yeah, super
Beautiful.
pretty.
That's so pretty.
And easy. It was so easy. It's really easy. It's a good way to kind of think outside the box when you're doing your cards and want to add a little bit more pop of color. So now this is ready to be adhered to our base. Just right down the middle. Again, it's 5.5 by 3. Okay, and then we're going to stamp our greeting. I wanted this to be a note card, so I actually used the same one, a little note to brighten your day. And I'm going to use the Cajun Craze. You could use any of those colors. Pick your favorite. I forgot Betsy's idea to stamp on the edge. I like that idea, Betsy.
Yeah, I just found it that with like if you're a little heavy-handed with it, or you kind of go a little hard, with your pressure, you don't get as much ink.
Yeah, it's definitely true. And the nice thing about these firm foam pads is really you don't have to use pressure. They're really a light touch.
No,
So I'm going to
exactly.
add my circle. This is just another little dimension. And then I am going to add some dimensionals to the back of my greeting. And we're going to add a little bit of the ribbon.
And I love the fact that this die set comes with that circle, right? So it's not just leaves that you're getting with this. You're getting like the little greeting little piece. You're getting circle. I mean, you've got other pieces that go with it.
Yeah, exactly right. So I'm going to do kind of a faux bow. I just went this way, and then I went this way, and I can make it as large or as small. I'm not going to really stress about the extra length, because that's super easy for me to just trim off. So I've got dimensionals on here. Hopefully there's plenty to hold that, but if there's not, then I could always just give it a little tug. That feels pretty secure. And so there is a lot of extra ribbon here. So I'm going to cut an inch off of each side and just bring it in just a little bit. And now I'm going to add my gem. So this one's perfect for the pecan pie ribbon. Where is my, I just saw it here, but I don't see my take your pick tool. So I'm just going to use, I've got a little paper piercer here. So I'm just going to add this. And you're right. They do shine. They really shine.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add my gems, and it's easy as that. And then we can do some stamping on the inside. I think I'm going to try. Let me see. If I bring this back in, I know, see if just a second, I'm going to huff on it. I'm huffing.
Yep.
I'm going to see if I can get just a light.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Sure. Yeah. And then the envelope, I know I'm really pushing it here.
Second generation, third generation. Yeah.
Third generation. It's going to be super light, but you can definitely see it.
That's pretty.
So, yeah, it's really pretty. So don't, when you're stamping, keep that in mind. You can do a second and third generation of your ink by huffing, and that just means you're blowing some of that hot air from your mouth, and it is moistening the ink on your stamp. So there's card number 1. So pretty.
Very pretty. Love it.
And so fast. So fast. Okay, so let's do card number 2, and I'm going to show you that here. This one is really pretty too. It's just a little different fold. Really no stamping other than we're doing the greeting, and we're going to do a little bit of stamping on the inside. And this is where I can send my little thank you message. And I want to show you a couple tips and tricks on doing this card.
I was going to say, I can't wait to see how you do this.
Okay, good. Stay tuned. All right, so let me get my pieces that snuck underneath and get this out of the way. All right. So you're going to have in your packet, or you're going to want to pre-cut your card base, 8.5 by 5.5. You're going to have
What
a
color is
piece to
that?
go. This is
What?
Lost Lagoon. I'm sorry,
Lost
Lost
Lagoon.
Lagoon.
Okay.
Thank you for saying that. Pretty Peacock. This is just a piece that's going to go inside. And you can see lots of embossing, lots of texture, lots of different, just a lot of texture on this card. So pretty.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have some pieces for all these die cuts. So we've got a white glimmer paper. This is not going to show up super great, but when you're doing it in person, so pretty. We're going to die cut out of that. We've got a piece for our inside that we're going to stamp and put our greeting. And then these are die cut for these leaves here. And then this one for these leaves here. And I've done that in advance. So let me bring them out just like Betsy did. I thought that was great to have each item so you could see what it is. Here is the pool party. You could die cut both leaves out of that. Here is the pretty peacock. You've got 2 leaves out of that. And then here is the white glimmer paper. So there's all your die cuts. It's super simple die cutting, but it's got a big impact. Okay. So then this is for our greeting, and I want to show you a little tip on what I did on this little die here. So I'm going to fold this card base in half, but I'm also going to open it up and emboss it. I'm folding it in half so that I have a place as a guide, right? I want to have a crease right here in the middle so that I have a guide. I'm going to run it through the folder, and I've done that in advance. And that way I can line up my folder. I've got my folder right here, and I can put it in and line it up. And I like to go just right over the crease. Okay, just a little bit over the crease. And that way it will not leave a little bit of an edge on the front. So then you have to decide, like Betsy said, do I want it to be debossed or do I want it to be embossed? So that is totally can be decided after you emboss. And then you're going to have to go back, and I like the emboss side up. I'm not going to do the deboss. I'm going to do the emboss. And I like that side up. It just to me is so textural. You're going to do the exact same thing to this. I did not use the hybrid. I just used the folder. The folder is beautiful all by itself. So I've already embossed this piece here, and I'm going to bring this one up, and then this one's going to have the leaf going down, and this one's going to have the leaf going up. So it's going to give you some different texture. But when you fold this back, you're going to also see the debossed on this side. So you've kind of got the best of all worlds, right?
Yeah, you
So
get
let's
both.
go ahead. Yeah, you do. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the inside. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp this because I want to put this in before I fold my card back. And the only colors we're using on this card are Pool Party and Pretty Peacock. Okay, so I'm going to start with Pool Party. And because I'm stamping kind of on the edge, I'm going to just stamp the leaves. And then I'm going to bring my envelope in at the same time and stamp my envelope. Okay, so my envelope's all done. My inside's all done. I can easily write over that my little thank you message. And if you really wanted to be light, you could stamp off and then stamp on. I think you're perfectly fine saying thank you for everything that you do for me. Love, Betsy. So you've got plenty of room for that. or insert name here. Okay, so I am gonna put that on, and I'm gonna burnish it because remember we're on like a embossed piece of paper. So I want to make sure that I've got a good adhesive. You could use liquid glue, that probably gives you just a little bit better. And then I'm going to take this and I'm folding it back, but I want to make sure that I don't go where my white paper is, right? So it's easy to do. Just making sure I'm only going as far as you could do.
I thought you
this
were going
one.
to be doing all this hard math and measuring and figuring out what you were going to do.
No, no, it's really easy. So that's this one. I went all the way to the corner. I'm not going to go all the way to the corner on this one. I'm going to do this one at a little different angle. You're going to give it a little bit of a burnish. So see, you've got embossing, debossing, embossing. So super, super pretty. And now it's just time to do a little assembly. So I want to give you a little tip on this. If you notice, and when you're looking at your dies, there is no die for this. Okay, so I want to show you how I did that. All right, it's really easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to stamp your word thank you. And I've got it here somewhere. I just saw it. Oh, it's right here. Don't you love that?
Right in front of our face, usually.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Okay, then I'm gonna actually do this here because that's the only way for me to show you this. So let me get out my little mini boss, and I'm gonna get out my plates, which I did not get out, but they are right behind me. So I'm gonna get out my plates, and I'm gonna get out the die, and I'm gonna run that. I'm gonna put that all the way over to this side, okay? Because it's my plates are a little well loved, and they kind of are warped a little bit. I'm going to put some tape so that I make sure that doesn't move. Okay, now I'm going to run it through my mini once. And you can see that is way bigger, oops, than what I need, right? So now I'm going to take it and I'm going to run it through again. It's pretty easy to line up. Let me make sure I'm doing it right here so you can see. Go. I am going to line it up. It's pretty easy to line up. I'm going to go about there. Okay. Need to cover it, and then I'm going to run it through again. So you can make your dies any length you want. Let's see if this worked. Or you'll
customize it based on the word you choose.
Yes, exactly. So now, if I did it right, we've got a tag just the right size. So that's how I did that. I thought that was a fun technique to share, something a little different. Okay, so now it's just putting down our all of our die cuts, and I like to use, like Betsy, I like to use dimensionals, and I love to just use them to hold this kind of, I wanted this card to be very three-dimensional. I didn't want this plastered down really tight. I wanted this to kind of float. I wanted you to have a shadow when you looked at it. I wanted this some to be under. I wanted some to be above. So what I did is I took my leaves and kind of placed them. I'm using a dimensional there to hold them down, and to, once I do that, to kind of close my, I'm putting two just to give it a little closure. Okay, so now I'm going to lay my other pieces down just like this. I'm laying them all down, and then I'm going to use my label just like Betsy did. We did not
coordinate that at all.
We did not, we did not coordinate this, but I love to do it too. And so I was like, okay, cool. We're reinforcing each other's. I like to use the dimensionals. Now there's a lot of little pieces in here. So I'm going to make sure I've got, maybe see if I go a little off that way. I think two is probably enough, but I'm just going to add a third one here. Okay. And that's got everything down pretty tight. I don't want to.
Yeah, instead of trying to deal with like glue, this is so much easier.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be like, I didn't want it to be all adhesive down. I want it to be dimensional, just like this. Now I'm looking at this card and I'm thinking, I'm going to move that aside. I'm thinking now this glimmer paper is gorgeous in real life, in person, it's really, really gorgeous. What if you wanted to add like a little bit of shimmer? Why not bring out your Wink of Stella? That's not on the tutorial. We didn't do that, but you could easily add a little Wink of Stella on some of this, especially this pretty peacock, and it would be just amazing. So now all we have to do is add our rib clear gems, and I'm going to add one here. I'm going to go to the little bit bigger, add one here, and then I'm going to tuck one in over here. I like those rule of 3,
Perfect.
and that's my card. So even though it looks fancy schmancy, it was really easy to put together. Really easy. So it's not this little, I'm going to give it a little burnish again. That's just going to keep it a little straighter there, but it's 3-dimensional. It's kind of pops up. Really beautiful. Place the sign just like that. Okay. And then we've got our stamped envelope.
Very pretty.
So those
Oh my
are my
goodness.
2 cards. Yeah, so pretty.
Yay.
I want to show you before you take me away from my desk. I've got 2 more cards to show. This is one we did this month in my class. We used the changing leaves, but look at how pretty the change of colors. Simple stamping, just 3 different colors on this. We use the dark. I'm not going to name colors because you could change it out. Dark, tone on tone, and then a Versamark. So if you're using a dark ink, and people in class were like, oh, I didn't know you could really stamp with Versamark. Yes, you can stamp with Versamark. It's not just for embossing, and it gives you a really light tone on tone look. Just add a little bit of this beautiful ribbon, any ribbon, and a greeting and a couple reused sequins. So pretty. And then this is the very first card I made using this, and I really love it. It's all speaks fall to me. I die cut out of the mercury paper.
Yes.
And then
So
on the back,
gorgeous.
yeah, it's embossed, it's vellum, it's got this color. And then what I did was it's a clear and gold mercury paper. On the back, I took a Granny Apple Green blend and I colored the back so that the spots, instead of being clear and showing the pecan paper, it shows the green color. Can you tell that?
The green and ties it all together. Smart.
Yeah, a little bit of twine, and then this is another a great greeting. You are amazing in every single way, and a few gems. So I just wanted to share those 2 cards that I did. So that gives you a little bit extra inspiration. And then let's talk briefly about next month, why I'm here, and we are going to showcase the Christmas Friends. So
This
this one
one's
is
so cute. It's
so cute,
so
right?
cute.
It's the November Stamp It Your Way. This will go live. The event will go live on November the 1st, and it runs through the 10th. You can sign up anytime. If you're watching Betsy's channel, she will have a link in her video description, and if you're watching mine, there will be a link in my video description. So you can click on it and get more information. But the cards are so cute. They are so adorable. So we've had so much fun working with the Christmas Friends, which is also, is this online exclusive? All of a sudden, I'm like,
no, this is in the catalog. This is in the
this
holiday
is in the
catalog.
catalog. Yes, this is in the
And it's
holiday
got
catalog.
dies that match, so you don't have to try
That's
to
correct.
fussy cut those guys out.
Yes, so great. So, okay. So what'd you think of that? What'd you think of the changing leaves? It's perfect timely, right? It's October.
Yes.
The temperatures are changing, at least here in the Midwest, and I know it is for you on the East Coast too. Things are changing and getting cool, and these cards are perfect to send out.
I just had a landscaper, a tree guy come in because my new house has 14 trees on the property. So I've already done leaves 3 times, and half the leaves aren't even down yet. But he was pointing out the different trees to me, and he goes, "Ooh," he said, "you have a sugar maple." And I was just like, okay,
yes.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Oh, you will.
But he was like,
You
it'll
will.
get very, very pretty in the fall. So I'm looking
Yes,
forward to
I
that.
have a sugar maple right here. It's the biggest, one of the biggest trees, and it's already turning beautiful. It's gorgeous, and I love that it's right outside my window here in the studio. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Every color, orange and yellow and red.
Nice.
Yep. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. Love the leaves. Unless I'm out raking them. Then I'm not as much of a fan.
Well, when you live
On
in the
my
country like
cards,
I do, you
I
just
love
let
them
them
on my
just let
cards.
them fall.
Just let them fall. Exactly.
Yeah, we don't rake leaves here. We have 5 acres, and that would be no, there's no time for that.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
We consider it mulch.
I
We
live in
still
a
have grass.
neighborhood with a
We
lot of
still have
neighbors that are
yeah.
doing their lawn almost every day, and mine
Oh,
just looks
no.
like it's just, it is what it is.
No, I see pictures. It's beautiful.
It is. I love it here. I love it here.
Well, thank you everyone for coming to watch Stamp It Your Way. We appreciate that you've come give us a little bit of feedback. Let us know what you thought of the projects. Let us know if there's something that you'd like to see in the future. We're always happy to share, even if it's just a technique or an idea. We can ponder it and see what we can do. That's what we like to do. We love to share. We inspire and create. So thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Be sure to subscribe to our channels. That way, then you get updates and it lets you know when we post anything new to our channels. So definitely do that as well.
Okay. Well, we will see you then in November.
November. Oh my goodness.
I know, right?
Mm. All
So
right.
it's
Bye,
all good.
everybody.
Bye.